Yes, hello, today we're breaking down the counter to the best deck in the meta. That's right, we're discussing GYARADOS EX, which shuts down Giratina EX and Darkrai EX decks. So, if you're sick of this stall fest, or, in other words, healing fest, break free with the unstoppable Water Leviathan. GYARADOS EX offers a mix of bulk, high damage output, and strategic depth. With its ability to survive heavy hits and strike back even harder, this deck is perfect for players who enjoy tanky, hard-hitting Pokémon with flexible game plans. Let's break it down. So, let's talk pros and cons real quick. This deck has survivability. GYARADOS EX high HP makes it nearly impossible to one-shot in this meta, unless you're playing Charizard, in which case, well, you can one-shot anything. Or almost anything. GYARADOS boasts high damage output. When paired with red, it can one-shot most threats, even those with Giant Cape. This deck also hard counters Giratina EX and Darkrai EX, as I mentioned before, meaning you can one-shot them either with red or even without red if you're dealing with Darkrai with no cape. And finally, Manaphy ensures Energy Accelerazione, which means you're less reliant on Misty. But like all decks, this deck has its weaknesses. Running weak Pokemon like Manaphy and Magikarp means this deck is vulnerable to bench targeting. Pokemon like Hitmonlee can disrupt your setup and prevent you from evolving into Gyarados. This deck is also prone to bricking, and its low recoverability means those bad hands are brutal, which can quickly spell defeat. Despite these issues, Gyarados is a strong Tier 1 deck. Understanding when and where to place your Magikarp is key, depending on the matchup. So you might be wondering, Sir PP, how do I play this Magnificicante deck? Well, I got you. Here's a deck list to get you started. This deck list comes from the beautiful website that I've been working on with my friend Kata called Pokédex.gg. You should definitely go check it out and tickle the bookmark button so you can stay up to date with the Tier 1 meta decks. So without further ado, here's the deck list. You're going to need 2 Magikarp because otherwise you can't bring out Water Onix. 2 Water Onix because it's better than Onix. 2 Manaphy because Energy Accelerazione is extremely importante. 1 Origin Form Palkia. 2 Professor's Research, or I like to call it Pot of Greed. 2 Misty because sometimes you just want to tilt your opponent. 2 Irida because healing is OP. 1 Sabrina because that's actually really crucial in the mirror match. We'll talk about that later. 1 Red because sometimes you want to beat out those Darkrai's with Giant Cape. 2 Pokeball because searching is OP. 1 Pokemon Comunicazione because, again, searching is OP. 2 Rocky Helmet because you want to deal damage and get your opponent to certain damage thresholds. And obviously, you're going to want to run Water Energy. Please don't put Grass Energy unless you're feeling spicy. But seriously, just don't do it. Optionally, you can replace Origin Form Palkia with either Regice or Articuno. Articuno trades bulk for the chance to paralyze the opponent, while Regice trades a bit of bulk and damage for faster aggression. They're both solid choices, so you can pick whichever one you like best. Alright, so we begin, and as you can see in my hand, we have Manaphy and Origin Form Palkia, but no Magikarp. Unfortunately, we only have 1 Pokeball in hand, so there is a possibility that we don't get Magikarp. Now, I don't drop Origin Form Palkia for a very good reason. I don't want to get Sabrina'd. That would be a huge misplay on my part, so we're keeping it in hand knowing that our opponent cannot kill us turn 1. Especially since they're running Dark Energy, therefore it's not Water decks, no Misty, nothing of that nature. Obviously, they find their Giratina because what meta deck doesn't, considering it's highly consistent. Alright, so on our turn, we draw into another Pokeball, which is fantastic because this guarantees us getting Magikarp. And you'll see why in a moment. Yeah, we draw into Manaphy. So if we didn't have the second Pokeball, we would have had no Magikarp, which would have sucked. Now, we did get it. So here we drop the Origin Form Palkia and the Magikarp. This allows us to play around Sabrina. And it also allows us to get an energy. So in case they do Sabrina us, we can just throw in Origin Form Palkia, throw another energy, retreat it, and then restart from 0 on the Origin Form, but not on the Magikarp, which is what is basically the whole point of the deck. You want to be able to build up that Magikarp. So now Sabrina is a completely useless card for them, which is good. Now, not all Giratina Darkrai decks run Sabrina, but we still got to play around it just in case. You never want to be put in a position where you just think, okay, well, they must be net decking, therefore they're not going to run Sabrina. Every Giratina Darkrai deck is a little different because everyone plays their own tech options, and this helps them against like mirror matches or alternatively specific bad matchups or good matchups. Here we draw Misty on our turn. We decide to Professor's Research, What I'm really looking forward to is, well, there you go, Gyarados. Because that's the only card we're really missing outside of red. So we're really just trying to dig for red as well. Now here I put Rocky Helmet on Gyarados, and the reason for it is it's actually great in case that, let's say, Giratina swings into us and has Cape. This allows us to break the damage threshold and allow us to kill them. And that's very important. So we're going to keep in mind that sometimes it's best to just pre-set up and not to set up on the Manaphy just because the Manaphy's in the front. We have no need to be killing Darkrai with Manaphy, or well, with Gyarados, but using Manaphy's Rocky Helmet. It's not worth it. So here we're just going to hope to draw into red. This will allow us to completely counter a Cape on Giratina. We're playing a couple turns ahead. And in the situation where we have to sack Manaphy, or alternatively not sack it, but get close to sacking it, we're going to switch into Origin Form Palkia to deal some damage to Darkrai. This will allow Gyarados to kill in case we don't have red. If we do get red, we'll just go straight into Gyarados, though. So there you have it. They ping us because there's nothing else for them to do. And luckily, no Cape either, from what I can tell. Yep, no Cape. So they're just broken Space Bellowing, and it's our turn. Here we draw into red, which is great. So there was 2 lines of play we could have done. Obviously, this is the better line of play if we can do it, because this guarantees a kill, and also puts them in a very vulnerable spot very quickly. So we red, and then we're obviously going to be Rampaging Whirlpool. Now, I like Rampaging Whirlpool because it also has the chance to really ruin their own energy. The opponent's energy, I mean. And especially if it hits Giratina, that's usually game-ending. Especially against a Darkrai Giratina deck. However, it didn't hit Giratina, so they can swing and all that. But now we have Rocky Helmet, so they're 20 to themselves. And the 20 from the Rocky Helmet, even with Cape, it doesn't matter. They're going to be taking too much damage. And then on top of that, they throw Drud, so they're playing a very unoptimized version, in my opinion. And I think most high-level players also believe that Drud is a bad option for Giratina. And there you go, the opponent concedes. And that's pretty much how you play Gyarados. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but has some depth to it, which is pretty cool. So where are you going to pull these cards? What packs do you need to focus on? Well, the water monster itself comes from Mythical Island, so you're going to want to start there first. It really ain't a Water Onyx deck if you're not running Gyarados, you know? From there, you'll need to break into some of the other packs to grab key staple cards. Little baby girl Sabrina is from Genetic Apex Charizard. Misty is from Genetic Apex Pikachu. The optional attacker Articuno is from, well, Genetic Apex Mewtwo, which is really weird considering you would think it's in Pikachu, but nope, it's in Mewtwo. Pokemon Comunicaciones from Space Time Smackdown Dialga. Manaphy, Rocky Helmet, and the optional attacker Regice are from Space Time Smackdown Palkia. And as you can imagine, that's already a lot of packs, but we're not even done yet. Origin Form Palkia and Irida are from Triumphant Light, and finally, Red is from Shining Revelry, because putting things into one pack would be too broken. So there you have it, Gyarados EX. If you want to build the best counter to Giratina EX and Darkrai EX decks, this is the one. With that being said, that's the Widgio. If you enjoyed this deck profile, you can drop a like, you could subscribe, and it would be nice to let me know in the comments what deck you'd want to see next. Thank you guys so much for watching, have yourselves a salty day, and I will see you in the next Widgio.